If you're a builder like me, then this image pains you. You just know all of somebody's hard work, hours of grinding and designing have just been reduced to rubble because some griefer thought this would be funny. But I have devised a system to combat this. As you can see, where you'd expect there to be a crater, the building still stands. Interesting, says the griefer as he investigates closer, only to realize that he's been banned off the server until you can log on and deal with him. Little did you know that this was my first rendition of making a griefer-proof base using 3 semi-well-known tricks in the Minecraft community. The first one is how the base gets its blast resistance. This comes from the fact that it's made entirely of stairs that have been waterlogged, as you can see on the inside. Everything's filled with water until you get to the actual interior. All the walls are filled up so that the blast resistance of water gets transferred to pretty much the entire structure of the building, minus a few blocks like the decorative glazed terracotta, vines, and whatnot. But there, you could work around this depending on what kind of build you want to make. Secondly, cats. Turns out that cats in the game, whenever you tame one, will actually sit down anytime you log off, and stand back up when you log on. And if you pair this with a chest and a comparator, you can get a login detector that knows whenever you're online and when you're offline. Now if we go inside the house, we've actually used this to our advantage. We've created a online-offline detector right here with this little cat, so whenever the cat sits down, you can see that triggered the comparator, and now we have an output signal here that'll trigger this lovely little thing that some of you probably recognize. It's very messy redstone, so please ignore that. But this is a chunk ban, which will actually make it so that within a certain radius of the base, nobody can come near it, or else they'll be kicked off the server, or actually banned if this thing is left on, so that they can't rejoin until you log back on, the cat stands up, and then that turns off the system, allowing them to rejoin, allowing you to rejoin, so that you can run out there and, I don't know, show them who's boss. Alright, so how a chunk ban works is it uses these little books that are filled with Unicode characters that send so much data back to the server that it just locks anyone out. It's too much data for the server to handle, so it just doesn't bother and cuts the connection. So that anybody who's rendering one of these shulker boxes, if like they were actually doing stuff right now, anybody rendering these shulker boxes will get kicked off the server, and if they try and log back on, well, they're instantly going to render a shulker box because they're within the radius, so then they get kicked off. So they're essentially banned until you log back on and deactivate the system. If you do want to give this a go and try and make this yourself, I will say 2 things. Number 1, building with the stairs is incredibly painful and difficult. It took me many tries to get a build I was happy with. That was my original one over there, actually. It does not make me happy inside as this one does. And secondly, the chunk bans don't work on every server. This server specifically is a paper server, and so the chunk bans don't work properly. I tested it out. It does work on servers that aren't paper, but just double check, make sure that the chunk ban works before you build an entire base around this idea. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe for more content such as this, and I'll see you some other time, maybe whenever I fix this. Goodbye!